All right, we have ZFG in the house. Please introduce yourself. Let us know what you play in the band.
I'm Trev Lukather, play guitar.
Sam Percara, I play bass.
Jules Galley, singer.
I'm Josh Devine, I play drums.
Fantastic. Well, I know it's a long time coming for you guys to get this together and have the EP and the special single out and all that. Give us a little bit of background. I know everybody's grown up, you know, in musical ways.
Are we growing up?
Tell us about basically how you came up in music.
Came up in music. I grew up in music. My dad's a musician. He's been in the business for over 40 years. Our dads worked together. And so, I don't know, man. It was just something I knew at a very young age and knew that it was my calling. Sam?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's the same thing. My dad played with Trev's dad for years, and it was just one of those things, always around music, always instruments around the house, just basses around the place, and just one day I ended up picking up the bass and just kind of never looked back.
So you never remembered a time without music.
No.
No, exactly.
It's like my first memory was playing music. From what I can remember, I was playing drums. That was like my first memory I could think of.
Right?
Yeah.
The oldest memory. How about you, Jules?
Yeah, no one in my family is from music, but I think.
Taste, man.
Yeah, well, my dad's a chef, but I mean, musically, I think I owe it to Disney movies. You know, like when I was one, just in front of the TV and just bobbing and singing, and never quite left me. And then first concert, I was 5, and it was just like.
What was that one?
Johnny Hallyday. I'm from France, so my references are not really the same as all these guys. But yeah, that was my first.
Passed on.
I know. Rest in peace.
He was like the Elvis of France.
He was so freaking amazing. It was great, and so that experience was like. I mean, I remember like I was on my dad's shoulders and I did this to him, and he saw me, and I was just like, wow. I always sang. So yeah, and now.
Go to the Meet Him show there in
Oh, really?
East and go to Cannes.
Yeah.
Thing like 25 years straight down there.
Nice.
So they'd always have the the NRG?
NRG, yeah, it's the radio one.
The
Yeah.
big award show, which is kind of like
you love these guys, don't
kind of
you?
like our American Music Awards, that kind of thing.
I did it.
Everybody was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And how about you?
Yeah, I started playing drums when I was 3.
Okay.
My dad told me he, at an early age, found out that I had a talent for banging things loudly.
Okay.
So genuinely, that was his actual.
We'll back him up on that.
So I was like, yeah.
He didn't play drums, but he was willing to
He was a
bring
singer.
some in the house. Okay.
He was a singer in a band. I think he played drums like way back in the day in Zimbabwe or something. He's Zimbabwean.
Okay.
And yeah, I played drums ever since. Never looked back. Just always just been something that's like second nature.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So we know some common threads. You guys kind of knew family-wise, but how did everybody come together?
Tinder.
Yeah.
Well, Josh and I, we met through these two guys' heartbeats that ended up producing our first few songs, and Josh and I really hit it off. And it was one of those things where I knew about his playing, he knew about my playing, and it just happened that we were both looking for a spot to live. And so we became roommates, and we both had separate projects at the time. And I was like, dude, we didn't meet in life to become roommates. We met in life to play. But he was doing a band, I was doing a project. And then Sam and I went on the road, and I've known Sam my whole life, obviously. But like Sam and I went on the road and with Diamante, and it just hit off. It was the first time we ever played together, and it was just like, why did it take this long? Like 27 fucking years to play with this guy, and it worked so fucking well. And so we all wanted to kind of just get in the room and jam. And I kept bumping into this Studley man through the jam circuit in Hollywood. He was doing Sayers Club, Viper Room, and I would see him sing. He's incredible. He always does you always did R&B, pop stuff, soul stuff. So never really heard him do any rock stuff. And then Josh and I, when we kind of decided that we wanted to get in the studio with Sam and fuck around and have some fun, we're like, we need someone that sings like some soaring high vocals. So the universe spoke, and I was going through Instagram just searching like a usual day, and his video came up, and he was singing something, I forgot, but he went in the high range, and it was like Axl Rose, Miles Kennedy, fucking Chris Cornell, and he's a performer, and he's a fucking rock star. I was like, dude, have you ever done a rock project? I write him immediately. It's like, no, but I always wanted to do it. And I was like, we're doing it, dude. But it was all for fun, you know? It was just something that we didn't expect to commit to. We just wanted to get in the studio and have some fun. You guys can have it.
Well, you got like a Robert Plant or Paul Rogers, the greatest rock singers have
man.
that soul
he has
background.
he has
Yeah.
he has a Paul Rogers
Yeah.
vibe too.
I mean,
That's
Paul
awesome.
Rogers has a Jules Galley.
Good luck. We got a pair.
Be humble.
I mean, yeah, it was just one of those things where I remember like I was just like sitting at home one day watching TV and I got a call from Trev and he's like, "Hey man, Josh and I are putting together this like rock thing we want to do in the studio. We got this great singer. Like, do you want to come in and just mess around?" And I was like, "Of course," because I had nothing going on, So it was funny though. Then I got there. Obviously, I've known Trev forever. I'd met Josh through Trev. We always wanted to play together. And then I got to the studio and Jules showed up. And Jules had actually been singing in a lot of like the same like gigs and with the same people like my funk band was playing around
Yeah,
with.
I
So I'd
saw you
actually
guys
so I'd
play.
actually always like seen Jules around and been like, this guy's badass. I have like a distinct memory of like one of our gigs at Vitello's and they're like upstairs jazz club, like looking out and seeing Jules and just like you see a guy like Jules, you're like, who the hell is this guy? Like sticking amongst the crowd we get, And then, but then he came into the studio, and I was just like, oh man, like it's just small world thing where it's like we all had like a connection,
Yeah.
And it just we all just ended up together, and it's been great ever since,
Well, Jules, tell us about what it is that, about these guys. You felt it was time to make that move and collaborate.
Yeah, I was doing my solo stuff, and I always think, I was always very busy, but I always left enough room in life to be surprised, like something shows up and you can just explore that opportunity, and that's exactly what I did. And when I heard the first track, the instrumental they sent me, I was just like amazed by how good it sounded and how professional it was, and also like that I could easily write and sing to it, which is something that I wasn't sure about, because I didn't do rock, and especially this heavy ass riff, rich kind of rock music, and then I never thought I'd hear myself singing this epic shit, really, like, and it worked, and
So basically raise the bar.
raised the bar. Absolutely,
Yeah.
this is the hardest thing I've ever done, but it's the best thing I've ever done. It's like those kinds of two things together, and I saw it as an opportunity to stretch. Like at first, like you said, like Trev said, there was no commitment, so I saw it as like, well, hey, here's another gig, here's another way of exploring, what I love to do, which is write and sing. And that's the great thing too, is like I don't know if I would have done it if they would have just sent me a song that was written already, and I'm basically where's the money then, But the fact that when you get to create and you get to merge voices as one, like that thing, that's the best thing about this band, is that's how it works.
Sure. And how about you, Josh? When you started jamming with Trev, what was it that kind of drew you in?
It was just so organic. It was just so undeniable was the word that kept getting thrown around. It was it just felt right. Everything felt that it was meant to be,
So it was right.
Yeah, and we were all doing our own individual thing. The whole ethos of it was no commitment until we need commitment, and that commitment came very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as we started playing some
Kind of
local
like an arranged
shows.
marriage, it was very organic.
Yeah.
Really, the universe spoke, man. It was one of those
Yeah.
things where when we heard Wholehearted, the first song we did together was Wholehearted, and when we finished that mix, no pun intended, Jules calls me and he's like, Trev, this is something special, man. It was something we couldn't ignore. The chemistry we had, the vibe, the love we all had for each other, respect. Like I always say that we're like all fans of each other in the band. So when anyone's doing their thing, we're like giddy. We're like, what are you doing? Sam plays some tasty lick. Josh and then Jules comes with an amazing melody and sings, and we'll say, I'll like, even the studio, be like, Jules be like, yeah, like some ridiculous note. And he's like, I got you, and then just does it in one take, and we're just all like, what the fuck's going on? But we just had so much fun that it was just one of those undeniable moments where we knew that it was just something we we wanted to, but this was the best form of expression for all of us. So it really was it was a beautiful moment, man. And here we are today.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So ZFG, Zero Fucks Given.
Yeah.
Tell us how. I know the idea was no boundaries, no restrictions, no rules.
Yeah.
Obviously very organic. Why is that the perfect name?
Well, because when we first got in the studio, we didn't have any idea of what it was going to be called. There was no lyrics or there was nothing written. It was just crazy riffs and kind of like you know, something we did in the studio for fun, and this before Jules got involved, and like it just, we were like, what do you call it? And we're like, zero fucks given, because it was one of those things when we arranged it, it was like, Josh, do a fucking drum solo in a way at the end of the song, and like it was just one of these moments where it's like we just didn't hold back, and so we just called it ZFG. So when Jules came in, we just kind of stuck with it. I mean, we didn't really think about anything else, you know.
The instrumental you sent me was called ZFG.
Yeah.
And that was the first song that we.
Sorry. That was before Wholehearted. That was before, like, as a band, you know, before we're like, okay, let's make a band. That was the first song that got us involved, and that was the instrumental you sent me called ZFG. I remember listening to it in my Uber and was like, damn, this is fucking fire. And I guess the name stuck. When we were looking for band's name, we didn't really even think about anything else. It was ZFG.
When the music came natural, coming up with a band name is probably the most difficult.
That usually
It's
is
the worst, man.
It's like,
That shit's hard.
yeah, man.
yeah.
It's like everything has been used, and you know what's left. You know?
Yeah,
That's-
nothing's really left. I mean, but
crazy.
it's got to work with what you're doing, and it definitely certainly works with the music we're making. So
Yeah.
And as typical as ZFG might be for certain people, I feel like still people want to guess what it is. Like, sort of like, it doesn't mean zero fucks given. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like your zo fucking good. That's a good one.
I think Zach fucking Galifianakis.
Zach fucking
Galifianakis was an interview, and the guy goes, "Oh, I mean, I think this is actually a better name for you guys." We're like, hey, if Zach's down, we're down.
we just go by ZFG, and then it means what, you know, whatever it means to some
Yeah,
people.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's not blatantly out there zero fucks given, but
Yeah.
that's kind of what our vibe was in the studio.
Fill in the blank. Call it whatever
Yeah.
you want.
Yeah.
Now, tell us about Special. How did Special come together? And I love the video, man. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was funny when we were recording the EP. We already had like the list of songs we wanted to record, and Special wasn't on there. I think it was after day one. It was day one or day two of tracking. It was Trev starts jamming this riff that they've been like toying with, and Jules comes up with the melody and starts singing it, and the Heartbeats, the producers were like, hey, what is this? This sounds incredible. And they're like, you guys should definitely do this. And we kind of were like, all right, let's give it a shot. And literally pretty much finished writing and arranging in the studio on the day, recorded all the parts as they happened. And then we were very fortunate enough to get Lenny Castro, who's actually Trev's Trev's godfather.
You're too excited, man. Relax, breathe.
Every single time Lenny Castro comes to the mix, I'm like, yes. No, so yeah, it was genuinely special.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's no pun intended. Like,
Kind of crazy how that song, the title's called Special because the song is very special to us now since it's our first single, really. I mean, we put out Wholehearted, but this is the first single to be put to radio and all that stuff. So, and then for Jules to say after we did Wholehearted, this is a very special thing. So for it to all kind of come into this one word, which it's like that could be our band name, Special, you know, at the end of the day, really. But like, but like, it was just one of those things, though, like how it all kind of came together, and I'm glad we did that because when we were even toying around with the idea, and Jules started coming up with amazing melodies, and Lenny just happened to write me. And it was very random because I hadn't heard from Lenny in a long time. And so I was like, guys, wouldn't it be great if Lenny came in and played on this? And it's like, yeah, because we didn't have any percussion on any other songs or planned to have one. So for him to come in and do that, man, it was epic.
Yeah, I mean,
So now, typically, how do the songs come together?
um,
Are you writing lyrics? Are you coming up with riffs? You're throwing around the room? What's the normal development of the song?
I mean, it all kind of just always starts like just whether we're at rehearsal or in the studio or something. Like whenever there's a little bit of downtime, a lot of the time Trev will start playing some riff, and then Josh and I will start playing along with it, trying to like figure stuff out, and Jules will just kind of like scat over the top of it, and we'll start to put together a rough idea of the song and like where we want it to go. And so it generally like always comes together in the room a little bit.
it's
Yeah.
funny though, because talking about Jules just randomly scatting lyrics and stuff. Genuinely, I don't think there's been one song where you've had to sit down and go, oh, we really want to work this melody. It's just kind of whatever's came out has ended up being the final product.
true.
The
It's kind of funny.
The melodies are like the first language of songwriting to me. I have song titles and stuff that, you know, accumulate. I'm like, oh, that'd be cool to write a song like this. But with this band, it just yeah, it's like I'm playing an instrument just like they are, and then words come out naturally. I'm like, okay, this word here, you know, for special, the word special was embedded in the chorus melody that came out scatting. But what's funny is that it was written as there is something really special about you, because at that time, you know, I was feeling somebody and whatever. And then it completely flipped, it completely changed when we were in the studio and we were like, oh, we should record the song. I'm like, yeah, but like I just don't vibe with what the song's about anymore because it's over. And they were like, well, flip it, you know. And there's nothing really special about you. And yeah, the lyrics need to follow, need to match with the melody. I think that's what's important to me when I have to sit down and like think of like a concept of a song.
Amazing.
Because it was a very happy song in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then it turned into, because your vibe at the time and us being his we're his bros and stuff, like we have his back. We're like, hey man, fuck this, dude. Like, so like, you know, hey, we got to send her a fruit basket, man, at some point and be like, thank you. Because like flip the whole meaning around and it worked. And the aggression of the song really kind of came out of that whole emotion too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, that's great. Turn something soft into something edgy, you know? So you basically formulating the EP still. Still, the clay is still molding.
Yeah, it's molding, yeah.
Haven't put it in the kiln yet.
Well, there's a lot. There's a lot of pieces out of the kiln. But like,
So what are your goals? Obviously, this is your first statement. Special is your first volley out there. But what else do you hope to have, you know, in that EP to kind of show the dexterity, you know, of the group?
I mean, the whole EP is kind of just, it's not one set sound or one set style. You know, we kind of cover a whole bunch of stuff. It gets really heavy. There's
It's cohesive.
yeah, it all sounds cohesive. There's some stuff that's really heavy, but then there's also, you know, we also have like a ballad we did that turned out awesome and amazing, and it's, you know, just completely different than anything else on there, but it doesn't sound out of nowhere. And even a lot of the other tracks that are more rock are all still, you know, they're not necessarily as heavy or as, you know, we cover the gamut of like up tempo, mid tempo, super aggressive, a little more laid back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it's crazy because I think all of us in the same room too really developed this kind of unique sound these two specifically really being funk, R&B, soul players and singers. And so that really kind of, us being a little more aggressive of our style of playing, Josh and I, it really kind of melded this really cool thing. So like, they all sound cohesive, but it's just like, it's very different, but the way we all work together makes it cohesive. But yeah, all the songs have its own little personality.
Little flavor.
Yeah, and we recorded 6 songs at the Treehouse Studios, which is our initial EP, but now we're constantly writing, and the individual voices, the more you write, the more it turns into one. And so the new songs we're working on also deserve their spot as contenders, and we are recording, we're writing, and we actually are going to play Viper Room tonight, and are playing 2 brand new songs that we've never played before. So
They fit so good.
and if it's so good, like now, like I mean, we had rehearsal yesterday, and like we played the show twice, and it's like we actually played the show. Like we were so excited and like enthusiastic about it, and we have a 30-minute set that we can really sink our teeth into, whether we're playing in front of people or not, you know. And that's the cool thing about it.
Baby.
Yeah.
So we have Adelita's Way hitting Texas. Looks like about 20 dates maybe, and then Winery Dogs.
Yeah, man, that's fun.
Yeah, Winery Dogs.
Uh,
Whew.
Yeah, what's the connection with the Winery Dogs? Is it Billy? Is it Mike? Is it?
Well, actually, we didn't get the gig through the guys in the band, but Richie, I've known Richie for years, and Billy Sheehan. They've been friends of the family for a long time. Richie's one of the best singer guitar players. I mean, he one of the top 10 best shows I ever saw was a solo band in a rock club somewhere here in the Valley, and still to this day I'm inspired by it. So for us to get the Winery Dogs gig really puts a fire under our ass too, because I mean, those guys are unbelievable musicians, and like their band is insane. We watched some clips the other night and we're like, fuck, I saw them play a couple years ago, but they just reminded us like we got to bring our A plus 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 plus.
Yeah.
And it's a big hometown gig, the Saban Theater.
Yeah, man, it's like
Beverly Hills.
Yeah, that's a sick theater.
It's the dream. It's the dream, man. I mean, I tell you, man, I come from a countryside in France, you know, in the vineyards, and here I am fucking playing all these places where you watch the fucking documentary on the Sunset Strip, and you're like, damn, I'm here. It's unreal, you know. And so if you're from somewhere, like from nowhere, basically, like fucking, and you want to do something, just do it, man. Like, don't stop, because
the Sunset Strip to us meeting.
yeah, that's where we met.
Outside of Viper Room at a place.
Viper Room, yeah.
Kept bumping into him there, so you know.
Now,
That's a crazy vibe.
What's the Gene Simmons story?
So our manager John was in with us. We were rehearsing at this place in North Hollywood, in Studio City. It was in North Hollywood.
It's right here, mates. Like down the street.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah. So we're there, and Kiss happened to be next door in the studio next door rehearsing for their tour. So we kept walking outside, and we could hear them like crushing. And I think John and Gene go back a bit, and literally we just get done playing part of our set, and he walks, and you know, strides in, blank. It's just like
Right.
he walks
No
in,
motion.
no motion. There was a we had an A&R rep with us, and
That was great.
and he's standing in the middle of the room, and Gene walks in and goes, "Please tell me you're not the fucking singer." And the A&R guy goes, "Oh no." And the A&R, he goes, "Well, then get to the back of the fucking room." We were all like, "Whoa!" It was pretty intense. And then he walks up to Sam, literally grabs his glasses off, puts it down on my kick drum, and goes, "That's better."